So you have a remarkable voice, another understatement.
Thank you.
And I'm really interested in artists as they, you develop technique and you do everything, but what was the moment for you, or what was the time when you realized that your voice had, an extraordinary impact on people listening, that it was a tool? Like,
I grew up singing in church. So, like, when I gave my life to Jesus at age 9, my grandfather was a preacher and my dad was a deacon in the church. So
and where was this?
This was in Florida. It was in
Florida.
Eatonville, Florida, the oldest black chartered municipality in the United States. Thank you. So it was at that time that you kind of just joined the choir, whether you could sing or not, and make a joyful noise, even if it was bad. So we had a good time doing that for years, but I was never given accolades for having something special. I remember in high school, I had to have so many electives to graduate, and they put me into home economics, and I didn't want to be in home economics. So I said, well, what would be a good class I could take that's an elective that would be fun? I'm in choir in church, I'll just join the choir in high school, and that's when I found this love for music, and then I started singing more, and people said, wow, you have this gift. So.
And then how did you find into the way of musical theater?
It was, we started singing a lot of classical songs when we first started, and then we got into more of the musical theater genre, and from that, again, we were talking earlier about if this was going to be like an Oprah moment, and this was my aha moment. I really found this love for this music that my voice fit, so I started kind of investigating that. And one of my first albums that I ever checked out of the library to take home was The Wiz, and I played it over and over again. I was like, okay, I can do this.
No, yeah, we were actually with Hugh. We were talking about shows that shaped our generation. The Wiz, Annie, monumental. So here's another question I like to ask great singers. What great singers do you love?
My thing is, even though I did not know I had something special, but I remember growing up with Johnny Mathis, who's like my all-time favorite. Frank Sinatra, obviously. A lot of the crooners have been people who influenced my sound. But you get into the newer people. I love Josh Groban. I love, Beyonce. I love all of the Motown sound. The 70s for me was a big decade because you had these people who really sang from their gut, and it was different sounds.
Yeah.
It didn't all sound like one. Not that I want to sound like this old man saying these kids today, but it was the 70s had this great, like, diverse sound.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So your co-star is Hugh Panaro.
I'm sorry. Who is he?
P-A-N. Google him.
Oh, okay.
He's done a few things.
Doesn't he own a Panero Bread? Isn't there like that? Oh, I'm sorry. That's spelled the other way. Sorry. Go ahead.
So you two are old friends.
Yeah.
And so, when did you meet? What is this friendship?
Hugh and I met years ago up in Toronto. I knew about who, because he was a big star on Broadway. But we met in Toronto. He was doing Showboat, and I was doing Miss Saigon up there back in 1994. And from that, we just realized that we had a lot of friends that were in common. We also lived a couple of blocks away on the Upper West Side in New York, so we were destined. And then we ended up getting into the same show. We did Sideshow, so that's when the friendship really blossomed, and we've just been brothers ever since.
Yeah.